Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us. I'm Julie Floyd, the founder and CEO of Styled Life and the Styled Life Crown Club. The Styled Life Crown Club is for anyone who wants to learn how to grow, style, and care for their natural curls, coils, or kinky hair. Tonight, we have Aevin Dugas and Erikajoy Gardner, and Aevin Dugas is our host. I'm going to let her introduce herself and Erikajoy, and we'll get right into this amazing topic. Thank you.
Yes. So, hi, my name is, sorry about the glitch. My name is, as Julie said, Aevin Dugas, and I'm your host for tonight. And tonight we have an absolutely incredible for questioning, should they big shop or should they transition? She's going to give you tips for a successful transition. Style Life Crown Club's goal is to empower you with the knowledge and confidence to make you switch to natural hair, simply better care for your curls if you're already on a natural hair journey. We'll be covering practical tips, essential product recommendations, which is a huge must, and how to overcome common challenges. We'll also have a dedicated question and answer session at the end. So if anyone has any questions, please put them in the chat below and we will definitely get to you. Don't be afraid. We literally are an open book over here. But first, before we jump in, let me talk to you about Style Life Crown Club. I want to touch on something that's really special to me with this platform. I really do love it because it has the power of community for natural and curly haired individuals. There's an incredible strength in sharing experiences, tips, and encouragement with others on the same path. So with going natural, it's about finding your tribe, not my tribe, not Erikajoy's tribe, not Julie's tribe, but finding your tribe. And I guarantee you here is where you're going to find it. So Erikajoy, I'm going to introduce you. It's been a pleasure meeting you. I just met Erikajoy recently, but I found out that she's kind of like me in a lot of ways as far as how she transitioned. She did it basically by mistake, right? Erikajoy was a young girl who had a perm, as so many of us did, and she loved her perm, but then she decided one day she wanted to get the pixie cut, right? So everybody knows about the pixie. I never had a pixie cut, but I wanted one. So she got a pixie cut, but she also got color with the pixie cut. Well, I don't know if some of you know, but when you get the pixie cut, when you get color in your hair, relaxing your hair is really not a good idea, especially if you want to go like blonde, something like that. So, if you ever had a problem where you were relaxed and your hair fell out because you went put color in, that's probably why. So basically, Erikajoy went to a stylist and was like, basically, do my hair, put some heat on it, train it, make it do what it do. And the stylist told her, you know what, you don't need the heat. Your hair is absolutely beautiful. And I think from there, Erikajoy's spark for the love of her curls slowly but surely crept in. And I don't think you've turned back ever since, right, Erikajoy? I think at some point you were like, you know what, that's it. I'm cutting it off. And here we are today. So thank you so much. And I'm so excited for the knowledge that you're going to give me and everyone else on this platform.
Thank you so much for that introduction, Aevin, and that's absolutely right. It's rather difficult whenever you're coming into transition mode. So I totally understand why anybody would be here trying to figure out exactly what it is that they are supposed to do or what they should do with their hair. So I want to first start off by talking to you guys about the fact that I am a licensed cosmetologist and a studying or a practicing trichologist as well, meaning that I study hair loss and scalp conditions. Um, and basically, I have spent the past almost 20 years of my life doing hair and even makeup, but not just doing people's hair, but getting them to love their hair and just understand how to um, continue to have those nice styles that they're looking for, or even color or whatever it is that they want to do, but without damaging their hair. We want to combat hair loss. So I want to first preface that I am a salon owner. I own a salon in Valrico, Florida, which is in the Tampa Bay area. And I have owned my salon here in the Tampa Bay area for the past 3 years. And as I said before, I have made it my life's journey to make sure that you absolutely take care of your hair, that you honor your hair. God first, of course, But second, secondly,
I
make sure
agree.
you honor your hair.
That
Your
all
hair
I
is what people see first, and it's so important for you to take good care of your hair. Don't wait until it's all damaged to go and visit a salon. Make sure you get it taken care of. Start immediately. Start before. Take preventative measures prior to your hair becoming a nuisance for you. So now that I've gotten that out of the way, let me start off by talking to you from a, sort of a counselor standpoint. And I do have a coaching certificate in spiritual and mental health. So I'm talking to you, talking to your mental state right now. And I'm letting you know that it is so important for you to love yourself and for you to love your hair. Don't ever think that you have bad hair. I hear this a lot. Oh, my hair is just unruly. It's bad. I just don't like it. I don't know what to
yeah.
do with it. It's nappy. No, none of that is so. Your hair is manageable. You just have to learn what products work best for you. You have to learn what techniques work best for you. Never allow yourself to get into a point where you feel like you have to cover your hair with extensions, where you feel like there's no other choice for you. You have options, and your hair is beautiful. It's what God gave you. So you have to love yourself first and foremost. And we find so many young girls, the whole purpose of us, especially if you were born in the 50s or the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s even, you know that the whole reason that you were getting relaxers was because nobody really cared to do anything with your hair. It was the pressing comb first, which we'll get to that as well because I'm not against it. But then after the pressing comb era, then it got to people began to relax their hair. And it was because our hair was unruly. It was unmanageable. Nobody knew what to do with it. Nobody dealt with that wanted to deal with your nappy hair. Oh, your mama shouldn't have got with that man, right? You hear all
Right.
those
And it was
words all the
and it really
time.
just was not accepted. Like
Right.
it was
It
not
wasn't.
accepted, period.
Exactly. It wasn't acceptable. So you covered it up with a relaxer, and it altered the natural pattern of your hair. And then most of us never look back, and we never knew anything different. So now if you're here today, you're probably saying, okay, well, I want to transition out of the relaxer, or even if you got a keratin treatment, because I know that a lot of people have gotten away from relaxers now because of the danger and whatnot, and they've gotten to do other methods that have altered their hair permanently. So with those other methods that they've used, maybe you realize, you know what, this is making my hair entirely too straight, and I just want to know what my hair looks like. The maintenance of this is just not for me anymore. What does my natural hair look like? I want you to love your natural hair no matter what comes out of your scalp. Even if you're scared, just let it, just trust the process. So that's the first thing that I want to share with you. Learning to have that love relationship with your hair, learning to love what you look like when you see yourself in the mirror as well is the other part. I know that some of us have worn extensions for so long, or even a relaxer for so long, that we have gotten used to having long hair down our back that's flowy, and you can't see yourself with anything else. But I'm going to tell you, my hair grows rapidly and I keep it short. I love it. I love it. I purposely cut it short because it absolutely fits my face, and I love it when I see it every single time.
Yes.
Love my little short shag cut. Okay, I'll straighten it out, have the girl cut it for me, and then curl it back up. And it looks absolutely gorgeous whenever I curl it. And I love it that way. But some people, you might want your hair to grow long, and that's okay too. Beautiful
Yes.
curls are,
Yes.
long, beautiful curls are just as good as well. But in order for you to even get to that point, you first have to love yourself, love what you see in the mirror, accept what you see in the mirror, and then understand that it is a process. It is not going to happen overnight. There is no pill that you can take that's going to grow hair rapidly. Okay. So let me tell you from a scientific standpoint how this works. Every month, your hair grows anywhere from a quarter of an inch to a half an inch. You heard that right. Anywhere
Mhm.
from a quarter of an inch to a half an inch. Okay. It is very rare. I'm not saying that it doesn't happen, but it is extremely rare for someone to get a whole inch of new growth in 1 month. It's
Right.
very rare. Okay. It almost never happens. A quarter of an inch to half an inch. And some scientists even say an eighth of an inch to half an inch. Now, and I will say the thicker what I've noticed is that the thinner the hair is, the longer it takes to grow. The thicker it is, the quicker it grows. In the summer months, it grows rapidly. In the winter months, it tends to slow down a little bit with
Okay.
the colder weather. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So this is scientifically proven. Trust the science behind your
Girl.
hair. It's the only way you're going to be able to see growth.
Look, I'm so glad you said that because mine is pressed right now so I can trim my ends. But people are like, what are you doing to grow your hair? And I'm like, literally consistency and leaving it alone.
Mhm.
It's funny because I ended up having to host the show and I'm like, my hair is straight. I'm gonna have to host the show. I've never hosted it with straight hair before, but I don't really get like I just started doing link checks only because of social media. But you are absolutely right. The length doesn't matter. It's health over length, period. Always. And
Absolutely.
trust me, my hair was a little shorter than yours when I first cut my hair in 98. I just found out recently I cut it in 98. So everything you're saying, I'm like, yes, yes. But this isn't since 98 worth of hair growth. I've had my ups and I have broken it off. I have,
Yeah.
okay, I've had all kinds of ups and downs and bumps and trials and tribulations. But I'm gonna let you talk, but I just want to be like, yeah, I'm so glad you're saying this because that whole there's not a pill you can take, there's not a product. If there were, then somebody out here would be a zagillionaire. Okay. I don't know what a zagillionaire is,
Exactly.
but you'd be a zagillionaire. There's nothing. So when people like, I have the da da da, and I hate, like, I'm not going to get on here and be like, I'm going to tell you how I grew my hair this song and your hair's going to grow. You can't tell people that because everybody's hair growth journey is different. So let's get, ooh, I dropped my pick, girl. let's get, I'm
Pick,
sorry.
keep the pick.
Y'all, the pick is if I have a question, I'm raising a pick in the air. So, Erikajoy, we got it. We understand now. But yeah, I'm so glad you said that there's not a pill you can take, not a product you can use without also consistency that is going to grow your hair. And at the end of the day, it's only going to grow so much. And it's all about maintaining those ends so they don't break off. So then you can see the growth. So,
Absolutely. So exactly what Aevin said. So that brings me, and I'm going to get to that point as well. So we do want to talk a little bit about genetics as well. Now, I will say this. Sometimes you can't really always look at genetics because, you might see your parent and their hair only grows to here and then it keeps chopping off and then you'll go, okay, well that's genetics. It might not be genetics. It could just be that your family members just didn't know how to take care of their hair, so you only saw them grow this much hair.
right.
So we have to know exactly what we mean when we say genetics. So let me explain to you again from a scientific standpoint, even how hair growth works inside of the scalp where your stem cells are concerned. So where stem cells are concerned, you have your catagen, your anagen, and your telogen stage. And you probably have heard this before, okay? The telogen stage is when the hair has grown to the point where it was going to grow, and then it's time for it to shed. You'll see a white bulb at the end of the hair strand. That hair is not shedding or breakage. It's not hair loss. It is the telogen stage of your hair. As long as you see that white bulb, you're in good condition. That's exactly what's supposed to happen. Now, some people might see that white bulb on the end and they only see about this much hair, so they go, "Oh my gosh, my hair is never going to grow." Well, it could have broke off in the middle somewhere and that was the end of that hair strand. So when the hair is in the catagen stage, it's between the active stage and between the telogen stage, which is the non-active, getting ready to shed stage. Okay. And none of your hair on your head goes through the same process at the same time. All of it's is filtering through a different process. If it was all going through the same process at the same time, we'd all be bald. It would not be pretty.
Right.
But during the anagen stage is that active hair growth stage, and that's where you
Mm-hmm.
see your hair growth. Now that stage can last anywhere from 2 to 6 years. Keep in mind what I just told you about hair growth. It only grows between an eighth or a quarter of an inch to a half an inch per month. So that means that if your hair only goes through the anagen stage for 2 years, you don't have very much. Let's say you get a half an inch. Okay. Let's say you get a half an inch per month. You are one of those people with
Right.
super thick, nice hair that grows a half an inch per month. That means that in one
Right.
year you get 6 inches. So the following year you're at 12 inches, and then that's it. Your anagen stage is done. You're now going into the telogen stage, and now it's time to shed. So that leaves you with a little, like maybe armpit hair, or armpit length hair, or maybe shoulder length hair, and that's where your hair grows. And then if somebody gets three years, of course, then of course they now have the opportunity to have 18 inches of length, and so on and so forth. But it lasts between 2 and 6 years. So that, and most of the time, that is genetics. So if mommy or daddy has 2 years of anagen growth, you more than likely will have 2 years of anagen growth. So then, but
Okay.
we would never know that for sure. So you can't
Right.
always look and say, well, everybody in my family has hair that's chin length, so my hair just doesn't, you don't know that.
You
Maybe it's
don't
that they
know.
didn't know how to take care of their hair. So
Right.
you have to make sure that you do all you can. It starts internally. So internally, that means, again, loving yourself. We're getting back to that again. I understand better than anybody else, okay, loving sweets. Thankfully, I can't have cake anymore unless it's gluten free, because I think that frosting is my favorite thing to eat. Now
Mm-hmm.
it's macaroons, but
Oh,
we can't have that stuff all the time. We
no.
can have that on occasion, but we can't eat that every day. You can't have chips and cookies and whatever you want on a daily basis. Not only is it making you sluggish, and also something that I found out about gluten, you guys, gluten actually kills the iodine in your body. And without iodine, that's how you get brain fog. Just putting
Mm,
that out there. So if you around here eating a bunch of carbs, you might want to slow down a little bit. Okay. Not only is it creating brain fog, but without iodine, your thyroids don't function properly, and um, non-existent thyroid function creates hair loss issues.
there we
So,
go.
and you'll notice that people lose their eyebrow hairs at the end. Their thyroid function is off, is
Yes.
faulty. Okay. So these are just some little tips that I'm giving you so that you'll understand what you really need to do as far as hair
Mm-hmm.
growth is concerned.
Okay.
So when you're dealing with hair growth, and wanting that to take those preventative measures, or you really want to know how long your hair could actually grow, it starts internally. Making sure that you have the proper supplements, the proper nutrients in your body. Make sure you go and you get your blood work taken care of regularly so that your doctor can tell you, is my vitamin
Yes.
D low? Okay, well, then I need a vitamin D and vitamin K supplement, because with vitamin K, it allows that vitamin D to absorb in the body better. Am I
Yes.
lacking iron? Okay, well, then I better take some iron with vitamin C, because they absorb it better and I can get it in my system,
We're
whatever
on
it
the same
is.
page, girl.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to make sure that you're getting your nutrients, making sure that you eat a balanced diet. I'm not telling you that you can never eat carbs. I'm just telling you to lay off the carbs, lay
Right.
off of them. Don't eat so much of them. Don't eat so much dairy. Dairy actually is a DHT like it what it does to your DHT, which is which is basically a testosterone booster. It
Mm-hmm.
boosts the testosterone in the body and causes hair loss, because
Oh,
we know that if you have too much testosterone, you will
right.
lose hair on your head and on your eyebrows and on your lashes, and then you'll gain hair in your face or your chest. So you want
Okay.
to be careful eating so much dairy. It's not that you can't ever have dairy, just don't eat it all the time. So we have
Right.
to learn balance in our diet. Okay,
Okay.
so then of course your next step is making sure that you're using products that are best for you. So we know that for the longest, there's and still is a craze with shea butter and coconut oil and all these different things. But
Yes.
coconut oil, I'm just going to tell you, I'm totally against it. Not everybody
Ooh.
is, but I'm totally against it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh-uh.
Can't stand the
Yes.
stuff. Okay. So I'm going to ask you, so why are you against it?
So this is my thing. Hear me out. Okay. Coconut oil in a jar. No, I'm serious. In a jar, it's hard, hard as a rock. You go warm it up on your hands. Yeah, it's oily. You put it on your hair. But in my mind, it then gets hard as rock. And then it's blocking any kind of moisture from getting in. So if you're putting that on, and then if you're not using like a clarifying shampoo to wash that off, you just blocking out all the moisture products that need to get in. So your hair's gonna break. It's gonna leave you like a no good man, like just out the door, gone. So that is why I do not like coconut oil. I'm just like, y'all, especially in the winter, the thought of coconut oil gives me the shivers. I'm like, oh my God, because it's so cold outside. So you're gonna go outside with this warm oil on your hair, and then it's gonna get hard. And in my mind, your hair is just like breaking. So that's my thing. But from a scientific point of view, you tell me why coconut oil is not good for your hair. Tell the
So
crowd.
that's precisely why. And here's something that people need to look at as well. When you have shampoos and conditioners that are on, well, shampoos in particular that are on the shelf today that are marketed as vegan and cruelty free
Mhm.
and all natural, when you read on the back, there's something called olefin sulfate 14 or 16.
Mhm.
And when you look on the back, that's basically coconut derivative, right? So it derives from a coconut, which is why they can say, well, this shampoo is all natural. Put it on your hair and see what happens. Your hair will be dry. You will have such a squeak on your hair, it won't even be funny. And your hair will remain dry no matter
Yes.
what else you put on it. So that's something to think about.
Mhm.
If a shampoo has that much chelating ability and
Mhm.
it's supposed to be natural and it has coconut in it, why would you think that coconut oil would do much of anything for your hair? So, from a scientific standpoint, what happens with coconut is the molecules in the oil are much too big to even fit through the cuticle layer of the hair. So, if you have the molecules that are too big to fit through the cuticle layer of the hair, it's doing exactly what you said. It's just sitting on the outside of the hair, just creating a buildup. A nice buildup is all you're getting.
Yeah.
So I'm totally against the coconut oil. I'm definitely for you moisturizing the ends of your hair. However, we have to understand that. Do you want me to stop before I
Julie
keep
got a
going?
question.
Yeah, I
Okay,
just
we
have
got a
a
question.
question. Thank you. So I'm always learning so much. What could you just repeat the name that you said is like another word for
The
coconut
Ola
For the
something.
derivatives?
coconut derivative,
Yeah.
so it's called olefin sulfate 14. It's either 14 or
Mhm.
16. You can look it up to see which
But
one,
you
but
know
it's
I'm going to flip
olefin,
over all
so
my bottles.
OLEFIN or something to that effect.
I'll
Sulfate
look that up
14
and
or
put it
16,
in
one
the
of the two.
chat for everyone. Thank you. I mean, I'm gonna
Yes,
check my products and make sure.
Girl, look, as she was
yes,
saying it, I'm like, soon as I get back to my house, I'm going to flip all my products over and check. And gonna have a
Yes.
burning party, gonna burn them all. Yeah.
I mean, I don't use
exactly.
anything. I mean, I don't use coconut oil in my hair, but
Yeah.
Aevin, your description of that hard oil and just breaking, I was like, okay, let me make sure nothing I have has any derivatives. So, Erikajoy, I just want to make sure. So, I will put that in the chat for everybody so we can all check our
Shea butter the
products.
same thing. Yes, shea
Yeah,
butter
so
the same thing.
make
I'm like, y'all don't think it's so hard. Like, so you warm
exactly.
them up, but then once you put them on, then it's like, and it's everything stops. No moisture is getting in at all. And then, if you
No,
just co-washing and stuff, so you're just putting grease, no, butter on top of butter on top of butter on top of butter. So now you have this, and people like my hair's dry. I'm like, do you clarify?
yeah, of
Do you
course it
detox your
is. Of course it is. And
hair? Before
it's
we begin into
amazing when you
transitioning, look, you need to know all of this.
exactly. So, and then, so somebody definitely, we know that we went through the shea butter craze as well. And I'll never forget, I tried that shea butter thing and my hair looked like it was in there. I'll
Curly
just say
straw,
that
curly
it
straw girl.
was in there.
We
Hmm.
all we
So
learned our lessons.
we
Some
learned
of
a
us,
lesson.
we learned our lessons.
Yeah.
A lot of it is common
So
sense though. You just have to really think about it. Like before you put this on my hair, like let me no, I'm not gonna put this on my hair. Look at it. Does this
exactly.
look like something that needs to be on your hair when it's like you drop it and it sounds like a brick on the ground? Don't put that on your hair. Or if you are use it as a treatment and then wash it out, but don't leave that on your hair to just sit there forever. You're gonna be sorry.
No, it should never do that. And you should always use things that are going to hydrate the hair first and foremost.
Yes.
It's important for us to understand that, we've bad-mouthed clarifying agents for a long time, clarifying shampoos, but we actually do need them, especially if you are a person of color, because you are putting butters and different things
Butters
on your
and
hair.
oil.
You need a clarifying, sometimes even a chelating agent, in order to get all that gunk off the hair. I've seen so many clients that come in that are curly hair, and they just have a lot of frizz. And of course, they always want to result to something drastic. Their first
Right,
thing that they say is, "Do I need a keratin treatment?" And I'm like, "No, you need a chelating agent treatment.
right.
You need your hair chelated, and once it's chelated, and sometimes you need multiple chelation
Can
treatments
you give the
because."
definition of chelating, please?
Okay, so chelating is a little bit deeper than clarifying. Chelating eats anything that's on the hair that shouldn't be there. Chlorine, any
Mhm.
type of hard water, any minerals, any buildup, anything that's in the hair that shouldn't be there.
Mhm.
That's your best bet, to
Yes.
go into a salon and ask for a chelating treatment, because it'll get rid of everything. And once you get that chelating treatment, of course, you follow up with the hydration treatment. And
Yes.
after you put hydration back into the hair, then we can talk moisture. So, of
Yes.
course, with hydration, if you don't have hydration on the hair, and I saw an example of this, and I never explained this to my cosmetology students like this before. I wish I had seen this before. There was a guy that took a raisin and a grape, and he showed how the grape is a fruit, right? And
Right.
it's plump and it's juicy, and then the raisin is the dehydrated version of the grape.
Right.
Well, if I put water on the grape, it's still going to be juicy and it's going
Agree.
to be plump. If I
Yes.
put water on the raisin, the water's going to roll off the raisin. It's
Right.
dehydrated. It has
Right.
no hydration. So we
Right.
have to make sure that we first hydrate, and then once we get our hydration together, then we can talk about putting moisture on the hair. But you can't just add moisture to your hair and think that it's going to do something, because all it's going to do is just sit on the cuticle layer. It's not going to go into the cortex layer. It's not going to actually hydrate or moisturize your hair, and meaning that you'll still have dry, brittle hair.
Yes. Yes.
So those are the top things that you have to understand about your journey to growing your natural hair. You have to understand, again, genetics, having
Yes.
that love, having that understanding the anagen, catagen, and intelligence stage,
Right.
understanding that hair growth is only between 2 to 6 years, understanding the difference between hydration and moisture. All those things really do make a difference in your journey. If you don't understand any of those things, which most of us, when we first went natural, we didn't understand it. So let me just preface that as well. Even us beauticians, we had no idea. This is why when I first went natural, I put shea butter on my hair. I saw someone else do it. I
Right.
thought I could do it too.
Right.
So we learn as we over time, and we grow.
Yes.
You had a
We go.
question?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
So basically, because I'm looking at the time and I'm like, so I don't want to intimidate anybody, y'all, because it sounds like a lot, but it's only because we know and we've been in the game for so long now, and she's a professional. This is what she does. That it sounds much more. I promise you, transitioning is not that difficult. So now, can we get to the part as far as like the transitioning, because it's already 7:04. It's almost like we need a 2-hour
Yes.
platform for this.
So that
This
was
is
my yeah,
good.
so that was
You
my
giving
next
all the
step. So
information.
yeah. So my next step was finding some styles for you when it comes to transition. So I did do my hair in a style that someone would typically wear to
Yes.
transition. I'm not transitioning, but I figured this would be a good example. So what I did is I actually put, even though this is very similar to my natural curl pattern, what
Hmm.
I did is I put some flexi rods in my hair and sat under a dryer, and this was the outcome. And then I pinned up the sides, or the first
Can we
couple
see the
days I
side?
just
Can we
wore
see
it
the
as
side? Can we
is,
look? Can we?
but then
All
I
right.
pinned up the
Okay.
sides today.
Mm-hmm.
So there's things that you can do to your hair. Now, I'm not going to pull this all the way down, because I don't want you to. Well, no, you know what? In fact, I am, because when you're transitioning, this is about that's about right.
Right.
So when you're transitioning out, you still have your straight hairs at the end. You might even have
Yes.
longer hair than this when you're transitioning out. And then what you can do is these cute little styles like this, and eventually just slowly trim off those straight ends
Yes.
if that's what you're doing. Now, if you're fully natural, then of course you can do this kind of stuff and do other things with your hair as well. But when you are transitioning, I would say flexi rods are your best friend. Make sure that you're not pulling on the edges too much. Sometimes they tighten those flexi rods a little too tight
Yeah.
around the
Yes.
hairline. Don't do that. This is the softest point of your hair, and you want to make sure that there's not a lot of tension. You do not need traction alopecia. Okay. So you want to make sure that you're taking good care of your hair by just managing. You don't need it to be so tight in the first
Right.
place. You're wearing it curly. You
Right.
just need it enough to just get the curl in there. So I would say flexi rods are your best friend. You're still welcome to get the silk presses if you want, but here's the thing with the silk presses. Because of the difference in the textures, because you got curls up here and then you got straight on the ends, you might actually start to burn that hair off on the
Yes.
ends. And
Yes.
and if that hair gets burnt and it's split on the ends, all you're doing is creating more issues with the rest of the that nice hair that's coming in.
Right.
Flexi rods are your best friend.
Right.
That's what I would say. You can have them twisted back. You don't have to do this. You can even do flat twist if you like. That's a nice transitioning style.
Yes.
Sometimes some people will do the flat twist and they'll sit under the dryer and then they'll allow the twist to come out, and it
Yeah.
gives you
Fake
a
it till you make
nice,
it.
yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
there's nice styles that you can do. And you're limited on some of the things that you can do, but slowly, every 6 weeks, keep trimming off those ends. Just keep trimming them off. Get those flexi rods back in there, trim it off, do the twist out. Keep going in that direction until you're finally ready to release the relaxer or the straight ends, whatever you've done keratin, all together. Okay. So it doesn't
Yes.
have to be intimidating. It doesn't have to
Oh,
be.
oh. Um, that's exactly what I did. I did not big chop. We were talking yesterday. I do not believe in telling people to big chop the whole shave your hair off. It's just hair. It'll grow back. That's not true. As you said, hair is the first thing you see when when someone sees you. When you walk out the door, if your hair is not done, people have not gone to weddings because their hair is not done. So don't tell people it's just hair. And if you're not mentally ready, that is okay. It took me, I think, maybe almost a year before I actually cut my hair off. And I didn't have flexi rods back then because I didn't know it was in 98. So I had Jerry curl rods. You remember, like the perm rods. They call them perm, but we call
Yeah.
them Jerry curl rods
Yeah.
back then. And I would just set my hair on those. And then I would take old school pink lotion, pull the curls loose, and then I would tie it real loose right here and just pull the curls. And it looked like I was natural. And I
Yeah.
wasn't. So when I finally cut my hair, people were like, "You cut it?" I'm like, "Child, that was a perm." Here's
Hmm.
the real hair. So you do not have to shave your head bald. A bald head is a hairstyle. I've said this about a million times. And if you don't think your head looks good with a bald head, that is perfectly okay. If you want to let it grow out for 2, 3 years, that is perfectly okay. But I guarantee you, at some point, you're going to be like, you know what? It's time. Something
Yes.
in you just tells you it's time. So, but you wait on, to me, you should wait on when something in you tells you it's time, not for everyone else. Maybe sometimes you need a little push, from your stylist, but a lot of times I just feel like something happens within you because I know that's what happened with me. And it's like I'm ready to release and let it go. So yeah, I like the idea
Absolutely.
about the flexi rods that you're saying. And then I would also say don't get too caught up in all kind of products when you're trying to transition, because that
Yes.
can we talk
Well,
about that?
this is one
Girl,
of the and I understand that people want to do their hair at home. I really recommend a professional because they'll be able to walk you through exactly what products to use. So I'll just tell you, when I did my set the other day, I just simply used Design Essentials foam foam
oh,
wrap, because that's what it's for. It's for the setting foam. And I made sure that I used some moisturizer.
mm,
Okay, so that's basically all I put on my hair, a good moisturizer and some setting foam. And I set under the dryer, let it dry, and this was the deal. And it'll
okay,
stay like this until it's time for me to shampoo my hair again, which I have a different rule when it comes to shampooing and conditioning. I do shampoo my hair most of the time, 2 times a week. Two
I
times a
use,
week.
yeah.
Yeah, just so that it can, because your follicles have to be clean in order for you to receive better hair growth.
Right.
That I'm gonna do the myth buster right now. It is a myth that the dirtier your hair is, the faster it
Girl,
grows.
I hate
It is a
hearing that.
myth.
I
I'm
hate hearing.
telling you. And it's nasty. You want
It
to
is
smell
funky
nice.
nasty,
You
isn't it though?
Yeah, you think people
Oh
don't
my God.
know
My
when
little
your hair
sister came
smells
home telling me
bad?
somebody in class told her that, tell me they you wash your hair too much out, and we do once a week. Right? I was like, girl, don't listen to them children. They're crazy. That's nasty. And especially if you're putting butters and stuff on it, that
Exactly.
stuff stinks
Exactly.
when it's get scalp smell. Scalp smell alone is just awkward. And then you put
Mm-hmm.
butters with it, it's like, no, what no. But I mean, at the same time, I do say do what works for you. But if you scratch your head and you got stuff under your fingernails, go wash your hair. Go
Girl,
wash your hair.
I'm telling you, it's nasty. It's like,
So
and I just have to tell people, and it's not that, of course, as the stylist, I never want to be rude to a customer.
right.
When guests come into my salon, I want them to be comfortable and I want them, but I have to be honest with you. Listen, this is not sanitary. It's not sanitary for you to go anywhere with your hair. You should never, especially as a single woman, okay? Especially as a single woman, you do not go places and your hair doesn't smell nice. That's not a good look. So you want to always make sure you clean your scalp. Make sure you understand that even though today, while you're young and because a lot of the times it's our young ones that are in their 20s and even the 30 somethings, they can get away with things for a little while. But then eventually, too many years of having that caked up, dirty scalp, and then you're wondering why your hair is thinning out, and then your excuse is going to be, well, my grandma, she went thin when she was this age. It doesn't have to be that way.
Does not.
Clean your scalp. You are causing biofilm to cape up on your scalp, and the follicles are fighting. They're
Yes.
literally fighting. They're parched, they're closed, they
Begging.
become tight and clogged, and now they got to fight with another follicle to see if they can come out with the other hair because you already closed everything up.
Right.
So,
So
so just be generous. Be generous to your scalp. I'm talking
yes.
about, your self-love and everything. Let me tell you, you need to love your scalp too. You have to love your
Yes.
scalp as well.
Because hair
It's
won't
what
grow if your
helps you
scalp isn't
stimulate it.
healthy.
Yeah, get a massage. Go and massage your scalp. Massage it. I even agree with putting a little bit of like peppermint and
Hmm.
peppermint oils and rosemary oils because those things are stimulating. Now,
Yeah.
I'm not one that will tell you to grease your scalp. I'm not one that will do that. But for
Hmm.
stimulation purposes, you want to do a hot oil treatment and put something like that on your scalp just to give it some stimulation and awake those
Yes.
stem cells up and to get the blood flowing. By all means, do it. Treat your scalp good, but please don't leave that stuff on your scalp and clog your scalp with grease and oils and butters and all the. Don't do that to yourself. Just don't.
Right. I agree. And if you do, you have to wash it out. Like I use a hot oil treatment butter on my hair. And of course, it's going to get on my scalp because when your scalp is warm, the oils and butters are going to melt onto your scalp. But then I follow with a clarifying shampoo and I
Right.
wash each section because I put it in 4 sections about 3 times to get all the oils off. Because you can tell, you can feel it when you wash your hair. My hair doesn't sound squeaky clean just yet. And you can feel it, like, but can I just say something? I have, because I'm the cousin who, I do everybody's hair. I'm the person who does everybody's hair. When people like, I wash my hair, can you just style it for me? And I see that white stuff on your scalp and I can do this. And then there's stuff on it. You didn't wash your hair. You wash your hair, but you didn't clean your scalp. You have to have, y'all, you have to like, you start from early. If you're just going natural and you're transitioning, that's the best time. You have to clean your scalp because if your scalp is like clogged up, then you are going to have issues with your hair. I mean, come
Exactly.
on. So again, that white, I would just take a hairbrush, a little board brush, and lightly brush her scalp, and I would section it and brush and get all the stuff off. And by the time it was finished, you could see like this nice scalp. If you don't see the scalp and you see like a layer of stuff,
Yes.
then I guarantee you your
Hmm.
transitioning is going to be much harder than what it needs
It
to be
is.
because
Yeah.
you are not cleaning your scalp. And I know people say don't use your fingernails. Well, of course, don't scratch it till it's bleeding, but you can use
The
it a little bit.
digits. Use the
Am I wrong?
digits.
Just to, get the, and then I
Yeah.
use the palms of my finger. I use a little bit of my nails and a little bit of my scalp, but I've been doing my hair, shoot, even when I had a perm, I was doing my hair to where I know how much pressure I can take when it comes to, what my scalp needs. But in transitioning, you definitely have to know how to care for your hair before even getting into this natural hair journey, because you want your hair to be hydrated and moisturized, hydrated, right?
Yes.
So that
Hydrated
the
first
styles
and
that you want to
foremost.
do work. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then you
so that the styles
moisturize.
will take. Because
Yeah.
honestly, to me, a wash and go, even if your hair is this short, a wash and go won't work right if your strands are clogged and they can't get any hydration and moisture in them. I've
Right.
done it. I've done it. I already know. You have
Hmm.
to open that up so the products can get in, so the products can get together and do what they need to do for your curls to form. Right? I'm
Right.
asking. I'm not
Right.
saying. I'm just asking
Yeah.
because you're a professional.
Yeah. So another thing that I would say is that if you do have some scalp issues, you know that you sometimes it's not dandruff. If
No,
dandruff has a smell.
right.
Sometimes it's biofilm.
Wait, dandruff
Sometimes
have dandruff.
dandruff has a smell. So dandruff, it has
My
you'll know it when you smell it. In fact, some people it's not obvious until their hair gets wet. Sometimes you don't smell anything, and then all of a sudden you go to wet that hair, and
I
then you smell it.
know
Or
what
when
you're
you
talking about.
take them over to go, like a lot of times, there's been times where I don't smell anything until I get ready to dry them, and then I'm like, ah, there's that smell. So you dandruff definitely has a smell to it. Sometimes when you see someone with a dry scalp, they'll say, "Oh, well, I have dandruff," and it might just be that their scalp is dry and they just need to drink more water. It's
Right.
really essentially what it is. They're dehydrated. So we got to know the difference between each one, but definitely go see a specialist so that they can help you with whatever your scalp issue is, because many times you won't get anything accomplished, especially being that dandruff has a waxy feel to it a lot of
Yes.
times. You definitely won't be able to get what you're looking for if you don't see a professional first.
Okay.
So go into somebody who treats scalp conditions, and there's a lot of beauticians that do know how to treat scalp conditions.
What if they can't afford to go to a specialist? Because stylists are come at a pricey tag nowadays.
They
So
do.
what if you can't afford? What are some things you can do at home to do your hair to keep it healthy and all the things without having to go to see a professional?
Okay, so when it comes to the scalp conditions, it does get a little bit harder,
Hmm.
only because with scalp conditions, you don't know what you have, right? You
Right.
don't know what you have until you actually go in and talk to somebody. Because, like I said, a lot of people assume that they have dandruff when really they just have a dry scalp. And then
Okay.
other people will assume that they just simply have a dry scalp when really they have biofilm or they have dandruff. So
Okay.
everybody has something different. So really you have to go see the professional, even if it's just to say, hey, can you just tell me, like, do you have any idea of what's going on with my scalp? Can you just give me a consultation and just tell me what's happening with my scalp? And maybe they can even give you some retail products, because with dandruff, dandruff does consist of quite a it's a long process. It's a process to get rid of dandruff, and it will require you to buy the proper retail products in order for you to do it, and have the time to actually commit to shampooing your hair more than
Okay.
once a week. So
So
that's just me putting everything on the table and just being
okay.
honest.
Okay.
So
Okay.
so sometimes it's best for you to just go into a professional, and just tell them the truth. Hey, listen, I understand that this is going to come at a cost. What can I do at home? Because some specialists really do have they have different tactics. I know what my tactic is, a 6 week tactic to tackle dandruff.
Yes.
And I will allow you to do it at home, but you got to buy the retail products. You can't go and get some Selsun Blue or some Head and Shoulders out the store, because I'm not I'm going to be so upset.
Yeah.
But so you have to make sure that you invest in the proper tools that you need and understand that your hair is an investment. It
Okay.
is an investment.
So I see the time is, look, as I said, that time went by fast. So I'm going to ask you a few questions. And if there are any questions, Julie, can you come and let us know what they are? But so the first one is, for many, the decision to go natural is really a significant one, as we spoke about. What typically motivates someone to make this shift? And what advice do you have for someone who's just contemplating the journey? Like, what can you tell somebody who's just thinking about
So if somebody's just thinking about going natural, the first thing that I would preface to them is how much time do you have?
it?
That's the
Okay.
first question that you have to ask
Okay.
them, right? How much time, how much patience do you have? And just make sure that it is a right fit for them. I'm always for anybody that wants to get away from chemicals.
Yes.
So if they're willing to trust the process, then let's go for it. I'm going to hold your hand every step of the way and we're going to
Yes.
get it done. But if
Okay.
you are looking for an easy fix, or if you are not, you don't have the patience, then you probably wouldn't be a good candidate to transition.
Yeah.
And
And I would also,
also I would
oh,
say too, try some styles with them.
mm-hmm.
Try styles with them first. Like, the first thing you can do is, again, give them a flexi rod set. Give them the perm rod set. Do something different with them
Lion.
and say, okay, so this is what this will look like if you begin to transition. So what did you think of the style? Have them come back in. What did you think of that? Did you like it? And just ask them questions and take it from there.
That's a good idea because I went to a DMX concert and I set my hair on straws. Do you remember the straw set? Are
Mhm.
you so I set my hair on straws and that was my first time having a peek at okay, this is how my hair is gonna look because I wanted to go natural. I did a straw set for the DMX concert and a Stephen Marley concert. And I was like, oh, I like this. But then it took me 5 years before I could actually build up the courage. So as you said, how much time do you have? Because sometimes it takes time, y'all, and that's perfectly okay. But you're absolutely right. Try the styles because I forgot about that. That's what I did. I did a straw set. And I was like, oh my God, I love this. Like this is so cute. And from
Yeah.
there, it took 5 years, but I got there. I got there. So I have another question. Okay, so once someone decides to go natural, the big question often becomes, do I big chop or do I transition gradually? Of course. Can you explain both methods and help our audience to understand the pros and cons of each of those concepts and guide them on how to choose the best path for their lifestyle? And I feel like you kind of answered that in the first one as far as trying out the hairstyles and whatnot. But can you give us some pros and cons of big chopping versus cutting, transitioning slowly?
So the best way to describe the two is the big chop is ripping the band-aid off, and the transition
Bam,
and the
bam.
transition is just taking your time and just going slowly. Sometimes it's easier. Listen, if your ends are broken and you got zigzags going through, like if your
Yes.
stylist blow dries or straightens everything and you got zigzag, chop it all off. Just chop it
Yeah,
off, start over again, like rip the band-aid off. You are not helping the situation by continuing on with all the breakage and everything. You're actually going to make it worse. And then your transition period, you're going to really dislike it.
I
Just chop it
agree.
off. But if everything is healthy, go ahead and transition slowly.
Okay. Okay. Now, another one, this is another good question. With the hair market being such a huge industry, what are some must-have go-to products that you would suggest outside of going to a professional that a person must have at their house? Like whether you're transitioning or you're just already natural and just still haven't found your space. What do you suggest?
Okay, so a lot of people are going to really dislike this, but you need, hold on to your seat. You need a clarifying shampoo. You need a hydrating shampoo. If you have color, you need a color treated shampoo, and you need a moisturizing shampoo, and you need a protein shampoo.
I thought, well, I mean, I'm not even holding on to my chair. When she said, I'm like, yeah, let me tell you, I got ripped to shreds back in the day for saying, I've been clarifying since the beginning of all of this and would get
Mhm.
told like, oh, she doesn't know she's done blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, no, you got to get the crap off before you put some good stuff in. And
She
so
did.
I'm so glad now that people are coming out and seeing it, and then professionals are saying it. I'm like, because I've even gone to salons where they just shampoo your hair with a shampoo, but I know it's not a clarifying. I'm like, my hair not gonna come out right because my hair is used to being. She used to taking a bath first, and then you go in and put the lotion on. Don't go put the lotion on. You didn't take a bath, okay? The basically.
Absolutely.
So I agree with all of those products. I second all of those products. So yes, and you can find
Yeah.
those, and you can find some good over the counter ones that don't necessarily, break the bank because again, now that the hair industry is so big, products a lot of times cost a lot of money, you know. And whether you have it or you don't have it, I really feel like everybody deserves to still be absolutely beautiful and their hair can be absolutely beautiful. Like, I did a blowout and I used all stuff at that I got from CBS and Sally's. So, it's just that you have to know how to do it and know what you're doing,
Right.
and
Yeah.
that takes time. Yes,
And
Julie.
read the product labels. Read
Yes,
the
and read the
Now I'm gonna
labels.
be honest, and I do have a complicated relationship with of course going in the store. I never look
Hmm.
at anything in there because I know that the majority of the time they're gearing things towards consumers and it's not the best. But
Hmm.
read the product labels and see what's on the back of those labels before you
Yes,
just grab it all off. It's a
yes.
couple of products out there that clients talk about. I wish they would have never. I
Hmm.
wish they would have never. Go ahead, Julie. I see that
Julie.
your hand is up.
Yeah. Okay. So, for the rest of us, could we just go back to the different kinds of shampoos real quickly? Because I am someone listened, I learned, and I regularly use clarifying shampoo. Um, and I use purple shampoo because my hair is colored. I'm also a swimmer. I swim 2 days a week for at least an hour. And so I have a lot of chlorine. So the routine I do right now is first I wet my hair and I put a leave-in conditioner under the cap. So hopefully my hair doesn't absorb as much. But when I wash it out, first I use the clarifying shampoo
Hmm.
because in my mind I'm thinking take out that heavy leave-in that was in there and take
Right.
out the chlorine and then I use the purple shampoo. So do you think that's the right order of operations? But then when do I also add
Yeah.
in the moisturizing shampoo and the protein shampoo? I don't have
And
those
the
in my
hydrating.
routine.
Yeah, so with each one, so you're not doing it incorrectly, but this is okay. So this is another thing too. I always think that you should do three shampoos and not just two. I know, like if you a two day a week person like I am, yeah, you can get away with doing two. But especially if you're in chlorine, your first course of action is correct. You definitely want to get that clarifying shampoo in the hair, get all of that chlorine out of there, get that leave-in conditioner off the hair, but then the next step should be a hydrating shampoo, hydration. And then after your hydrating shampoo, then you can use your purple shampoo.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you. I'm
Hmm.
glad I
Yeah.
asked, and I'm assuming other people would have the same question. Okay, so
Yeah.
then hydrating shampoo, then the purple color shampoo. Okay,
Shampoo. Right.
Like you
very
said,
helpful. Thank you.
I have a tendency
Yeah.
to say moisturizing, but what I mean is hydrating. But in my mind, I know what it means. But when I'm talking to other people, I have to watch what I say because they'll take it literally. So I'm glad you said that.
Right. And
That
it
on my mind.
and you do need, because if you're getting, so for example, because hydration, in Julie's case, she's gonna need hydration because she's in chlorine. But then you have some people the hair is hydrated, so they can skip
Right.
over that and they can go to the moisturizing shampoo. They won't need it. They don't have color, they don't have anything else to worry about, so they like and in fact, if they don't put anything too heavy on their hair, they can even skip over the clarifying shampoo. Because sometimes some people's hair, like with mine, even though I shampoo it twice a week, it's
Mhm.
pretty clean when I go to
Yeah.
to
Right.
clean it. So I don't always use a clarifier. But
Mhm.
so on those days that I don't use a clarifier, I might just use two or three moisturizing shampoos. The protein is really used like maybe once every other month when you feel that your hair needs some strengthening. That's
it is.
really what that's for. You should not be constantly using protein
No.
shampoos and conditioners.
Yes.
You will break your hair.
Yes. Yes. Too much protein will just, your hair will be so strong it just breaks, like
Yes.
shatter like a piece of glass. So
Mhm.
and it's like, think about it, y'all, because protein is muscle, right? So think about it like that, So imagine protein. So where it's so hard to where the littlest thing and it's gonna break.
Yep.
So I come up with all these little things in my head of, this is why I don't do this, and then I get to explain it, and it may not sound professional, but I'm trying to get the point across, because it's like, no, y'all, don't use protein stuff all the time because your hair is gonna literally pop off. So
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
but it is
Yeah.
7:30. We have talked, and I feel like we just getting to the good stuff. Good, no, good Lord. But let me say that for those of you looking to continue this journey and the supportive community, we invite you to join Style Life Crown Club community on Mighty Network. It's a vibrant space. You can connect with other natural hair enthusiasts, share tips, ask questions, ask anything you have. Nothing is silly on this platform, and celebrate your progress no matter what it is. Whether you're here or here, we're going to celebrate your progress no matter what, okay? So you'll find exclusive content, live questions and answers, and truly an empowering sisterhood. So and brotherhood, just any and everybody, y'all. Any and everybody is welcome. So Julie, do we have any other questions? Because I feel like we just talked and
Actually, we do. We are over time. I'll just ask one more, and I will encourage everyone, as Aevin said, to join our Money Networks platform. You can also book one-on-ones with Erikajoy Gardner through styledlife.com. And as she mentioned earlier, she doesn't just do hair, she does makeup. I've had makeup sessions with her myself, and as you can see, she is gorgeous and amazing and really helpful. So I encourage you to book one-on-ones with her. Yes, there's another question. You mentioned peppermint oil on the scalp and rosemary oil. Just like, and how often would you say is often enough?
So I have to preface this before we got to make sure that you're mixing it with the carrier oil. And that carrier oil would be something like an olive oil, safflower, or sunflower oil, some almond oil, something to that effect. You don't just want to use essential oils all by itself on your scalp. You will burn it
gonna
will
burn yourself.
burn and it will not feel very nice. So make sure that you use like I would definitely strongly recommend olive oil more than anything else, because olive oil is such a natural oil, and it really does saturate and gets in the hair the best. So you can just take let's say you're going to do a hot oil treatment, you can take like a quarter cup of olive oil and dip a couple drops of peppermint and a couple drops of rosemary in there, mix it
Said a couple.
together. Yep, just a couple.
Couple.
You don't need a lot.
Don't go like it's hot sauce.
I
I'm telling
know.
y'all now, and then come back on here talking about your head burn. I know it's burnt. I know it is, because she said a
Right.
couple, like 4, 5. Don't go up
Exactly.
to 10, y'all. Don't go up to 10. I just stop at like 5. Give them a number, Erica. Just give them
Exactly.
a number, because I don't want to hear nobody's mouth. I don't.
And it's so funny because the first thing that you do is you're like, I can't smell anything. You-
You know, your scalp
but
will
you
be
really
wide
don't
open
need
by the
more.
time you finish putting all that peppermint oil. You go.
Exactly. And you do want to be careful with that, because even though those are, of course, too much of anything is not good.
Right.
And if you put too much of those things inside of on your scalp, not only it overstimulates, meaning that it opens the follicles, and then they can stay open. And there's been times where people's follicles, you're standing over their head and you can see that their follicles are so open that if you were to do like this, it would just come right out of the scalp, their hair. So
See why
just
I
be
say 5?
careful.
See why I say?
Mm-hmm.
So a quarter
Yep.
cup of olive oil
Olive
to
oil
about 5
and just a
drops.
couple.
5,
There you
5.
go.
Can we just stop it?
Yep.
Because I'm telling you, because people, people that they
Do
don't do
not.
numbers,
Yes.
and then it's like,
Please don't go over that. And you
you
can
know,
warm it up. In fact, I would say even to make it a little more or less pungent, maybe even spearmint oil,
hmm,
because spearmint is a lot more,
yeah,
lax than peppermint. Peppermint is like it gets in there, but spearmint tends to be a little bit more gentle.
yes, Okay.
So you can just mix in just a couple drops of each. You can warm it up, put it all over your hair, leave it on, walk around the house, go clean up. But then afterwards, get ready to take it off with the clarifying shampoo. It
Okay.
can't stay in the hair long term. You
No,
can
don't
sleep with
sleep.
it. Some
No, you
some
can.
people, yeah, some people will sleep with it. Like if you put it on late at night and you
Hmm.
go into bed and then you get up the next morning and you know you're gonna wash your hair. I
Hmm.
gotta preface that too. You know you're gonna
Right, because
wash
I'm
your
like, give them
hair.
all the steps. Because you again, we're gonna be like Cardi B in that lawsuit, sitting up there answering questions because somebody burned their scalp, and it's like, give them all the. I'm telling you, people,
Yes.
5 drops. And if you're gonna sleep with it, wash it out the next day. Don't go
Yes.
stand in the
Wash it
sun
out
and
that
work out with
morning.
peppermint oil in your scalp.
Don't do it.
You know what? Just don't
Don't
even
do it.
use it. Just don't even, don't even touch it. Because I so let me just
But
say, don't
yes.
forget to mark your calendars for the next webinar, The Crossroads, Big Chop, or Push Through Navigating Setbacks in Your Hair Journey with Lydia Anu, happening on September 25th, 2025 at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You are not going to miss it. I love Lydia. She's such a sweetheart. So does anybody else have anything to say, or are we're not done, but unfortunately, we've come to the end of the road. Like Boston, man, we at the end of the road. But I'm telling you, don't go. Just leave the peppermint all alone, y'all, because somebody out there gonna mess it up, and it's gonna make me mad. It's gonna make me so because it's like we told you not to do that. But yeah. So anybody else has anything to say? Julie, Erikajoy. No?
We can wrap it up. Now there are a few more questions, but we are
We can get
over.
to it if you want. I mean, we can get to them if we can.
Oh, yeah. Okay. At what point, someone who couldn't make it tonight sent me this question. At what point are you on the other side of the transition? Like we use that word transitioning. I mean, are we always in transition or are we in transition once we're happy with it? I mean, transition like Erikajoy, like you're not transitioning more. You've got the beautiful, beautiful haircut that looks amazing on you. You know, Aevin's got her hair I don't know if it's blown out, but straight
Yeah, I
tonight.
straightened it so I could get my ends.
I
Yeah.
mean, do either of you still consider yourselves in transition? Or like at what point are we done using that word?
I think when your mind
So
stops working overtime for me to where do I like it or don't I like it? To me, like once I got over that, I was no longer transitioning outside, of course, cutting off the permed hair. But for me, it was a mental thing. Once I got over the mental blockage, I felt like my transition was over and I was like, I'm here. So I'm sorry, Arkajoy, go ahead.
no, that's okay. So of course, with in the salon world, transitioning is when all the relaxer or whatever the straight pieces are, they're off. However, um, a person who has been on their natural hair journey and they happen to do something that damaged their hair. Heat damage is one in particular. um, Many times they have to transition again, even though they are natural. Technically they don't have any chemicals that's altering their hair, but they have what's called mechanical damage, and that person would have to go through a transitional period in order to get rid of that mechanical damage. So that you can still go through a transitional period, technically speaking, even when you are natural. And of course, that's dealing with a little bit of a different issue because at that point, now that you have heat damage, we still can work around it by doing the other styles that we talked about. But you really have to be careful, especially with mechanical damage, about manipulation. So if that person is used to having their hair straightened with heat, we can't do that anymore. We would have to find other means. So maybe we need to do a roller set, or maybe we need to do something where we might have to, put a little bit of tension on the hair and have it dry out underneath a dryer. So you have to find other means of working with the hair. And most of the time, when people are in that type of transition, I actually prefer them to have very low maintenance but loose updos more than anything else. So maybe we can do some pompadours with their natural hair. We can, because there's some areas that's smooth already, so just work with it. Maybe we might want to do like a little crisscross in the back,
Yeah.
different things of that nature, just low manipulation styles that are a little to no heat and until they can transition out of the heat damage.
Okay. All righty. Well, thank you so much, Erikajoy, and thank you, Julie, for allowing us to have this platform. And as I said, look for the next webinar, September 25th, 2025. And until next time, see y'all later. Bye.
Bye, you guys.